Purpose with Lana. Today we have Jason B. Lockett Sr. He is the Executive Director and founder of Breadwinners Academy. Welcome. Thank you for coming here.
No problem. I appreciate the invite. I really do.
Yes. I noticed you on LinkedIn and I said, well, let me see what's going on,
Yeah.
with what you were doing. What's Breadwinners Academy? And I was like, wow, he's doing some really great stuff with the youth. And I said, let's talk about this. Money is always a hot topic. So I said, I got to get you on the show. So thank you for coming.
No problem. I appreciate the invite. I really do. And I was going to ask you, how did you find me? But I knew it was LinkedIn, but I didn't know. Are we connected? Or
Well, you messaged me to follow you.
yes.
So I was like, let me see what he's about before I follow him. I'm not following
Mhm.
anybody. So I said, okay, he's a good, upstanding human. Looks like, okay, I'll follow him. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that's how I, heard about you. So, in looking on your profile, I see that you are a CMSD alumni.
Proud. A proud CMSD alum.
I
Absolutely.
am too.
Nice.
Where'd you graduate from?
JFK.
Oh,
Don't say it like that.
I'm sorry. So, can I just briefly tell you about JFK and me? So, I
Okay.
am Catholic school all my life, right?
Mhm.
Elementary, middle school, whatever. And then I was in high school, and then my high school closed down. And so I was like, you know what? I want to try public school. So I was like, I'm going to go to JFK. I was scared every day. They- I would leave out before school was over, running home. I'm like, ooh, it was definitely different from Catholic school, and I couldn't. That was a little much for me.
The transition can be tough going from private to going to something a little more rowdy.
Rowdy, every day was a fight. But you know what? A lot of students graduate from there, doing some great things like yourself. So,
Thank you.
so then, what made you get into finances? You just had a
You know,
passion.
it's crazy. I think first and foremost, I think the man upstairs doesn't make mistakes.
Okay.
And going through once I graduated college, I wanted to buy a car. Now this is like one of the craziest things I ever thought. I wanted to buy a car, so of course, I'm literally 3 or 4 weeks into my job, about a good month. I got two pay stubs, so I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to buy me a new car. I don't know about my credit. I didn't think about insurance, nothing. So I went to Crestmont Cadillac of all places,
Oh, you went
right?
to Cali. Your first car, Cadillac. You were going big. Come
Why
big or
not?
come home.
Why, why not, right? So you remember back in the day when they used to put the monthly notes on the windshield so you
Yes.
can see how much you're going to pay. So
Yeah.
I'm shopping based on that. I'm thinking, oh yeah, 550 a month, I can swing that. Knowing
Okay.
darn well, no, I couldn't. But knowing what I know now, no way I could
No
afford that.
way.
But
Okay.
I did it anyway. So we
Oh,
test drive the car. I'm turning up the radio. I got the seat all the way back. It had a leather and wood wheel. It had the faux rims. It had the moonroof. I mean, this car had everything,
okay.
and we're having a good time. He's like the best salesman ever. Like he's just
Right,
so
right,
chill
right,
and
right,
everything.
right.
So
You feel this, you got this bond with him, right? You bonded.
he's going to get me approved, right? So we get back to the dealer, and I park the car right in front. Now, what's interesting is that I park it right next to my old car or my current car.
Okay.
Super, super slick salesman because he want you to see what you came in versus what you can leave with.
Of course.
And then it's right near the front of the door. So as we're talking about the car sitting down, that very awkward and uncomfortable back and forth with you and the car salesman. It's so uncomfortable. But I'm looking at my car as him and I are talking. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm taking this car back home. So we get to the dreaded credit question. And oh man, I owed everybody. Like, so
Oh,
oh my God, I owed everybody from the point where I developed asthma at a very late age. And I was going back and forth to the ER, no health insurance, and I'm just getting those bills, getting those bills. I'm ripping those things up and throwing them away. So this is like right after college. So I yeah, we went through that. The payment went from being 550 to about 900 a month. I had to put down, ooh, I'll say about $6,000 is what they were requesting to get me approved. And I was going to end up paying like 3 times what the car was worth, just about,
Right.
with the down payment and everything. So the interest rate was close to about 25%. So needless to say, I didn't get the car.
Yeah. I'm
So
like, I hope you did not drive away with this car. Okay.
no, no, not at all. So that sparked my interest.
Yeah. Oh, I want to ask you about, Breadwinners Academy and just how you came to this idea to do this academy. Like, what caused you to birth this?
That's a funny story. I was literally with I was with my wife, and we were over her brother's house, just hanging out on July 4th. Just the family.
Yeah.
We're big or family oriented, so
Okay.
on holidays and things like that, we always get together and just hang. So um, Dr. Carmen she used to work for Cleveland Heights, and she was there. And
Okay.
she approached me while we're just hanging out playing cards and said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming in and hosting a workshop with our students to talk to them about credit?" And my first thought came in my mind was, "Nope."
Why? Why not?
Well, because I think about my son, and I think about that generation, and I'm thinking they wouldn't want to hear anything I have to say about credit.
Okay.
And then I'm thinking, how can I jazz this up to make it interesting? So for me, I took it as a challenge.
Okay.
So we stayed in contact for a few months. This is July, and then we can't stay in contact for a few months. Then October come rolling around, and she's like, "Hey, I want you to come in. Are you still interested?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not? Let's do it."
Right.
So I put together this really cool simulation called What the FICO, and I created it for them to go through the simulations of being an adult, using your credit, understanding how to use credit and things like that. And the kids were so overwhelmed with joy, and I've never felt more passionate or more fulfilled.
Right.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this what I'm supposed to be doing with my life?
Yeah.
so
Right.
So from there, we decided to build out like a complete cohort the following year. And we did a full cohort with covering saving and budgeting, credit, investing, auto buying, insurance. And I'm thinking, oh, I am on to something here. So that was last March, and also taught some workshops at some colleges as well, just by sheer people knowing who I am.
Right.
So from there, I decided, you know what, I'm going to create a nonprofit because I want to. One, I'm feeling a need, especially coming from where we come from.
Yeah.
Those resources aren't provided. We
Ah,
know the story, right? They're not provided. Redlining was and still is a thing. So I wanted to
is
fill a
it?
need.
Okay, we got to talk about that. I did not realize. Is it still a thing?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yes, yes. In certain ways it is. You do
Okay.
have some pretty cool banks that are doing some pretty awesome things, but access to capital for minorities is still a hot topic.
Okay.
So yeah, so one thing led to another, and I decided to form a nonprofit last June. I formed it, and because I want to give all these tools that I picked up in college and throughout life, I want to give them away for free. I don't want anyone in the community paying for any of this information. So all the information that I provided, I received, I'm going to give it away for absolutely no cost.
Wow. So now for her to approach you about doing this, you must have some type of a financial background.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So I'm a financial planner by day.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
I, yep, I am. I got my certificate in financial planning from Howard University,
Okay.
and I am 3/4 of a way to being certified. I just need to complete my
Okay.
hours out in the field, which I'm going to get to that at some point. The academy has grown so much over this past year that it's just consumed so much of my time. So It's on the docket.
Awesome. So you're in CMSD, you're in
hmm
Cleveland Heights. What are
hmm
some of the other districts you're in?
In East Cleveland City Schools,
Okay.
Maple Heights.
Okay.
In Akron, we're in North and Bookdo, and we are in a few schools in Columbus.
Wow. And all this is just free resources that you're giving to the student.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Wow. That is so good. So, um, did you know about money and when you were young, or was this kind of like something you were interested in and you're like, I wish I had this, or did you know a little something?
When we're young, like teenage years or like young adult years, or which
Either
age are
one.
you?
Either one.
Teenage years, absolutely not. I knew how
Right.
to spend it. I'll tell you
Right.
that.
Right.
I knew how to spend it, and then throughout college, not really.
Mm.
I knew what credit was, but I didn't know how it worked. And this is like early to mid 2000s, so the internet was around, but it wasn't really a thing,
Mm.
especially what it is now. So no, I knew enough to put myself in a bind. I'll say that.
Okay.
And he was telling me, he said, "Hey Jay, you can." He was telling me to look into a credit repair company at that time,
Mm.
and I did some googling, and I ended up finding the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And once I found that act, I started looking at the CFP, or the Consumer Bureau Protection Act, and I know I just butchered that, but I started reading in it, and I memorized. I don't memorize it, but I know the Fair Credit Reporting Act front to back, and
Wow.
that part sparked my interest into finance. And at the time, I was engaged. I already had a son, so I'm thinking I want to be like my dad. So I want to
Right.
be the head of the home. I want to be, leading finances. So
Right.
that started me on the journey of where I am now. But it was definitely painful.
That, yeah. So, what do you tell the kids about being in debt? From what you experienced, what do you tell them is the first thing they need to do to come out of debt?
Oh, first thing to come out of that? Well, that's a really good question.
Because
So the
what did
first
you
thing,
do? You were in debt.
hmm so I started repairing my own credit. So I was working backwards, and
Oh,
I started repairing my own credit. So I started challenging a lot of the collections that was on my credit reports, and a
mm,
lot of that stuff was erroneous. But for the most part, consumers really don't understand their rights, and how collection agencies are one of the shadiest businesses or industries in all industries. So
wow.
what do I tell them? Actually, I show them. So we have simulations where everything we do is hands on. Like I don't like the PowerPoints, because with that generation, you got their attention for like 2 minutes and that's it, and they're gone.
Right, 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 right.
So what we do, like the two largest expenses you have in your home is your have grown as an adult is your home and your car.
Okay.
For especially for the middle class and the people that I'm serving.
And
So
the student loans.
student loans are it's super expensive. College is. So
Mm,
we go through our simulations, and where the students have to make these large financial decisions. And then
okay.
we go through the four pillars of debt, which is home, auto, student loans, and credit cards. They're all over $1 trillion. So we go through these simulations, and they get to they get to not only see but feel what it looks like. We use prop money in classes, the same one they use in music videos and stuff.
Yeah.
We use it in class. So
Yeah.
they get that feeling when they first pull out the envelope and have a wad of cash and thinking life is
Right.
great, this is going to be fun, then start paying bills, and how it whittles and whittles and whittles and whittles down. And now
Mm,
they're just robbing Peter to pay Paul,
right.
based on
Right.
the decisions they make blindly. So yeah.
Wow. Oh, and you say that one of the quotes that you have on your website is wealth is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, it certainly is. Rest in peace to Nipsey. So I followed him a lot,
Okay.
especially before he passed. And thinking about investing, if there was like one thing I wish I would have known then that I know now, is the power of compound interest.
Mm,
So when you invest, compound interest is interest on interest. It's like your money working for you. And that whole concept, I wish it would have been taught to us. Like, hey, you don't
right.
have to work 40 hours at this company, 40 hours a week for 30 years, then retire, have a party, and fade off into the sunset. There's other means to an end too.
Right.
So
Right.
um, But if you think about it, that's really what's missing in the communities that we serve is having not only having access to it or understanding it, but having access and resources to people that can actually help. Because the notion, you can kind of say the notion is once you make it out, you're not going back
Mm,
for the most part.
right, for the most part. Well, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, if you're making you're living large, you're not going back as far as like committing to going back and actually being active. So until we all have a collective effort, the places we grew up in is not going to be much better than what it was when we were there.
Oh, right. No, no, not at all. Wow. So you also said banking can be an intimidating experience. Why is that?
Oh my God, the anxiety is real.
Is it? Why? Because I've had a bank account for I don't know since I can remember, a little girl, and with my son. Oh, we opened up account for him when he was a baby. Like, what is? I'm like, wow, what is intimidating about the banking
You,
experience?
you know what I think it is. I think that when you go into a bank, you talk to like a branch manager or a
Yeah.
loan officer. They have on the suit, and you go in there and you thinking, you know what, my credit may not be where it needs to be to get a personal loan or to get like an auto loan or a mortgage. So the fear of being denied will force me not to go into the bank at all.
Oh, but if you're going in to save, which is what we were going into, then it's not that
Yeah,
bad. Okay.
no,
We were
it's
trying to get a
fine. Yeah,
long banking experience. Okay, I guess depending on what your
yeah.
experience is, like why you're going in there. Okay.
No, it does matter why. If you go in there deposit a check, then you're good.
You're
But
good. You're good. But if you need some money,
you know how it is. They only loan to people that don't need it.
oh gosh. Okay. So what are some of the challenges you've experienced in creating Breadwinners Academy?
Oh, it's been a roller coaster.
Really?
Absolutely. Well, because one, I'm new to the nonprofit space.
Okay.
I've since I graduated college 13 years ago,
Mm,
and I've always been in corporate America, so that's pretty much all I know.
right.
But the nonprofit world is it's not totally different, but it has its own nuances. And going through the whole nonprofit space, the challenge is one is grants, is finding how to get grants, finding grant writers, assembling a team, getting everybody on board. It's getting board members and board directors, and
Okay.
it's a
So the
lot.
behind the scenes work is the tough part, but the going out there and being with the children and giving the information and doing the work, that's the fun part. It's just the behind the scenes work on that's
Yeah,
tough.
100%. The being in front of the kids is the best part, but the behind the scenes stuff is getting to that point to get in front of them. That's where the challenge happens.
Mm,
But it's like the iceberg method. You only see the success, you see all the fun stuff, but you don't see
yeah.
what happens below the iceberg, the failures, the late nights, the millions of emails and calls with no replies and all that stuff.
Oh, wow. Mm. Being a financial planner, do you sometimes struggle to take your own advice?
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, I've experienced that in what I do too. It's like, you wrote a book about purpose. What are you doing? That's not
Of course,
purpose.
it's difficult. It's difficult to defeat the person or the being that knows you best because it's yourself, right?
Ugh.
Those vices. It's tough because it's not like someone that don't know you, but it's no,
Right.
this person knows you, knows you through and through.
So how do you get over that? How do you get over like I'm really struggling to take my own financial advice? Do you have accountability partners or what do you recommend to the students? Like,
Oh, we definitely have accountability partner. You need one, and that's
yeah,
like a good friend.
yeah,
But also it's understanding your vices. So I know my vices and then divorcing myself from it.
right.
So for savings, so when I do save, I bank with a credit union and I don't have a debit or an ATM card. So if I need the cash, I gotta drive way on the other side of town to get it.
Okay, make it
And
hard.
if it's that important, I'll go 40 minutes to go and get it, but on a Saturday between 9 and 1.
Right,
So
right.
Yep, that, and then I know what I like sneakers. I'm a big sneaker person, and
Oh.
that's always a challenge.
Mhm.
But um, just discipline, just know like, nope, you can only buy X amount per year and things like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just finding ways to trick yourself.
The trick is right. Um, you've also said your favorite quote is I'd rather suffer defeat than live with regret.
Yes, that's my favorite quote. And I came up with that about 2 years ago. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
And essentially what it means is I'd rather try and fail than not try at all.
Right.
So if whatever I got to go through to get to where I need to go, chin up, chest out, like
Mhm.
let's just get it over with because
Mhm.
it's nothing going to stop me to get to where I want to go.
Mhm.
And that is around the time when I started to focus more on finance and I wanted to become more well-rounded, not just with credit, but understanding investing, becoming a registered investment advisor, and being more well-rounded in that realm. So
Mhm.
of course you are a little bit uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
that's where the magic happens, is when you're uncomfortable. It's not
Right.
your everyday thing where you can just get through the day. No, you have to be uncomfortable a little bit. So
And I
taking
think,
those L's is important.
yeah, and I think our youth, they don't want defeat. Like that scares them. They don't want
Mhm.
failure. And so that would keep them from trying because they're like, I don't want to fail, that fear. And so what do you tell them to overcome their fears about money?
First, we need to address it. So first from what we do is it's called money scripts by clients, and I picked this up in CFP school,
Mm.
and just understanding your financial behaviors. And we go through it. It's like money worship, money avoidance,
Mm.
and there's four of them. And we have a quiz, and they go through the quiz and they figure out, which one they are. And from there, we address that. We find out their financial behaviors, and then we address it at the door. So if you are afraid to invest, why are you afraid to? Are you afraid to lose money?
Mhm.
Cool. We can do a risk tolerance assessment to
Mhm.
understand which stocks you should invest based on, are you a risk taker or are you not a risk taker? Um, a lot of students, and a lot of their fears and comes from their parents and come
Mm.
from what they've seen. So
Okay.
that's like the biggest challenge
I was gonna
is,
ask you, what is their which yeah, where did they land at with that? Okay.
no, that's the hardest, that's the biggest challenge. Like with the students is, okay, we need to undo, not so much undo, but we need to correct what we've been told, and we need to go about it objectively,
Mhm.
because there's so many means to an end when it comes to money. So we like to cover it all based on your money script.
Mm.
So some people may say, you know what, I want a credit card to use a credit card for all of my expenses. Some people say, you know what, I don't like credit cards for whatever reason. I just want to use my debit card. So we can approach it from so many different perspectives to cover the entire spectrum.
Do you talk about ethics and morals when it comes to money? Like making sure we get this money the right way or we do right things with this money? Do you do
Absolutely.
that with the students?
Absolutely. We're in the land of scammers. Like oh my God.
Right.
I can't say the school, but I know some kids were showing me how to get free UberEats, how to rip off Klarna and
What?
Affirm.
Car Karna.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's like the pay as you go. So for example, if you were on saxfifth.com and you spend $1,000, they'll let you break it up in like four easy payments of 250
Oh,
like that.
and you can scam the payment plan people.
Yep. So
I didn't even know you could do that.
these kids are
Wow.
getting free Grubhub. Like oh my God, they are doing so much stuff. They are so creative. And I said, look, this is gonna land you in jail.
Right. Let's just be clear.
This is
Right.
gonna land you in jail. And I said, it takes too much energy and effort to be a criminal. I can just be legit and sleep easy at night, you know?
Right. But it takes a little longer. They want that fast money. And so whatever the
Yeah,
fastest way, some of them, they're like, let's do it, you know.
and
But
that's the curve. Yeah.
yeah, right? Wow. So what is the future for Breadwinners Academy?
Man, I'm glad you asked. The future for us, we want to be the predominant provider for financial literacy to the youth and young adults.
Okay.
Community based. So we're starting here in Northeast Ohio. We're going to continue to expand our footprint in Columbus. Then we want to branch off more into Pittsburgh. Y'all go off into Detroit, and just keep expanding and expanding and growing our team. We're challenging the teach the teacher model to where
Mm,
we'll provide you, where companies will provide you like a curriculum, and have the teacher teach it.
yes,
Hard pass. I feel like the teachers have enough on their plate right now, and I think that it's
absolutely.
best if you have finance people come in and teach this curriculum, and those that actually been through it
Mhm,
came out on top or will come out on top, and that's more relatable because the teacher to student relationship is different, and then
mhm.
you can bring in a totally different voice and say the exact same thing, and it conveys. It's like parents.
Right.
Yep,
So when
it's
you bring this in, because like you mentioned, teachers have a lot going on and they've got all their periods planned out. Are you taking a period or is this after school or is this a Saturday? When do you come in with this program?
it's all of the above. So
Okay.
our curriculum is custom to fit whatever the school district needs.
Okay.
So if it's last period, if it's after school, if it's sometimes it can be like an hour or two after school,
Okay.
we're flexible because a lot of these students have a lot going on.
Yeah,
And
sports and
yep, and they're playing sports every sport now. So
right. Awesome. Wow. So how does someone get in touch with Breadwinners Academy? Just give us your social media tags and everything. You
so
want this amazing academy in your school district.
so you can find us one at breadwinnersacademy.org. On LinkedIn and on Facebook, we are Breadwinners Academy. On Instagram, we are Breadwinners Academy CLE. And we'll respond to you promptly with your request.
All right. Come on, you guys. This is great. Our kids, listen, we talk about generation wealth, right? And this is where it starts. It starts with our youth,
It
right?
does.
It
Yeah.
starts there. Yeah. So come on and let's take advantage of this free resource. Like financial planning, it's expensive. You know what you charge, it, but this is free. So come on out, get in contact with Breadwinners Academy, and let's get our kids empowered. Knowledge is power.
It certainly is.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm going to definitely be doing some marketing for you all. Like, hey, this is great free resource. I'm definitely getting the word out. This is this is amazing. And the libraries too. You should be able to get into the libraries during the summer programs as well.
Yeah, we're working on that. It's
Yeah.
wherever we can find you
Yeah.
young adults that's interested. That's where we're gonna go. But yeah,
Yes.
libraries are great.
Yes. All right. Well, take care. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.